And welcome to another great episode of Framing New Heights. My name is Michael Hicks, the host with the most. We are on a great journey for you all today, so just sit tight. We got some fun activities planned for you today. Okay, I'm about to dive in. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Excited for you to be here on a Sunday when I'm recording this. You could actually be anywhere on the planet, but you decided to be here today, not only on my webinar, but also Framing New Heights. And if you are catching this on the live stream, put on live, hashtag live. Otherwise, you can also catch this on the replay and put hashtag replay. But today I'm really going to dive into some fun things today for you all. And I really want to talk and begin. Now, this is week 3 of the challenges that I have set up for most of you that are listeners. And today I really want to go in and chat about the importance of this 5-second rule and how it truly changes, get this, procrastination and helps you become more confident. Now, I truly cannot take the entire accolades about this, but there's a gentleman by the name of Mel Robbins. He invented the 5-second rule. And so if you're ready today for some solid information and to really become the best version of yourself, here it is, you guys. Here is truly the ticket for creating better awareness, more confidence, and getting rid of that self-doubt and procrastination. So as I was talking about it, Mel Robbins, he actually invented the 5-second rule during a period when things were really, really difficult. And how many of you I'm dealing with some stuff right now? Maybe it's a difficult marriage, finances, career, self-esteem. Maybe things are just falling apart. Well, this is where Mel Robbins really got in and really found that there were so many overwhelming problems, especially that it interfered with even that person getting out of bed in the morning. And they felt so defeated. How many of you ever felt like that? So what Mel Robbins went on to continue to talk about was she created the 5-second rule. And the 5-second rule was she would stop pressing the snooze button for her alarm. So I'm going to just tell you all this right now. If you are doing that right now, you're procrastinating. It's because you stayed up the night before watching your favorite Netflix show. So, and that also goes into self-soothing, self-gratifying. So after using this simple rule, the 5-second rule, consistently, here's what was discovered. It will affect your entire life, even when from the beginning you wake up. And the impact of this rule is also reflected on cash flow, marriage, career, and parents for you, parenting. And, Mel Robbins, one thing I really learned about this whole strategy, you guys, is that Mel Robbins was in a serious marriage relationship for 20 years, having millions in her account. And it didn't work out. So I'm going to share with you today this 5-second rule that will absolutely transform and change your life. Because most difficulties, you guys, and I just recently had several calls with this on people that I am having phone calls with and consultations on helping them becoming the best version of themselves, is most difficulties stem from lack of faith in our ability to improve. So what's critical is the 5-second rule can also be a turning point in your life. It may really suck right now. It might really be really bad. But if instituted correctly, and I'm going to talk about how to do all that today, it can substitute the tendency of procrastination, even the overthinking train, and instead shift your brain towards actually taking action. And what this approach will do, it'll encourage you to believe in yourself, okay? Then giving you more confidence, right? And help you become proficient, you guys, in every area of your life. Now, and it's so tiny. That's the thing. This strategy is just so tiny, you guys, and that everyday actions, if truly developed every single day, I have to talk to my clients on building I am statements to fill their morning cup, slow meditation, some journaling to begin their day. But truly, though, it will transform your life and not the grand gestures. So why does this tool work in diverse and effective ways? Well, number one, it taps into your inner courage, okay, stick with me here, that is looking for an incentive to come out. Got me so far? And what it does is it pushes you to champion your ideas and then honor yourself, and that's how all the transformation becomes possible. Does that make sense so far? If you're following along here on the live stream, put hashtag make sense. You have everything you possibly need to live your life that you truly want. You do. But many of us are okay with status quo, or many of us are okay with average. So if you're truly average, you might as well just turn this off. You might as well, because you don't want to improve. You don't want to self-grow. So I'm going to tell you how exactly we're going to implement this, all right? So I'm going to give you a little story, a little background about Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins was unemployed and had severe drinking, financial, and marital issues. And they would generally, how many of you, so that's how Mel founded this strategy. But how many of you right now that are listening wake up late? And I'm talking late. I'm talking 10 o'clock in the morning. Have maybe marital issues, financial issues. Maybe you're getting your kids to school late because they missed the bus. You're often fighting with your significant other, or you're blaming the other person that's in your life because of your misery. Or maybe your business has severe financial difficulties at this specific time, and you wish it was just easier. So here's the thing. We can easily always find excuses for our problems. What the key here you need to do is find a way to truly take action. And some of you don't know how to take action. And that's why I have clients reach out to me, or potential clients reach out to me, and that's why I do my program, is because they are struggling with certain areas in their life. They're having difficulty finding the right job, manifesting the true relationship that they want. Procrastination, self-gratification, time, getting time back. But if you can just remember this simple thing, you have the tools to take action today. And that, I know that doesn't always help with everything. I get it. And sometimes it even worsens things, even worsen because of that situation or whatever it might be. But here's the issue. When you already know you have the tools to succeed, and if you begin to overthink, we focus then on negative things, and then our mindset, you guys, becomes fixed. Everybody with me so far? Okay, good. Just making sure. No comments. All right, cool. So when we have this overthinking progress, and how many of you honestly go down the overthinking pattern, and all of a sudden now there's negative things, and then our mindset then becomes fixed? Generally, just a plug here, I help you reframe that. And when those feelings and those thoughts come into play, I actually strategize with my clients and show them how effectively they can change that perspective from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So let me continue with the story, okay? So Mel was about to turn off the TV one night, and when she saw the image of a rocket about to launch on the screen that really caught her attention, She was watching it as she heard the famous 5-second countdown. Remember what it is, you guys? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then fire and smoke filled the screen. And guess what? The shuttle launched. All right, so then she decided to launch herself out of bed that day. Actually, that next day. So she thought of it like, well, I'm going to be a rocket getting out of bed. And that's right, and that's all basically it took for Mel Robbins, is she had the inner instinct to launch herself by saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I have used the analogy 3, 2, 1, go. Mel Robbins used 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, mind you, struggling financially, divorce, nowhere to turn to. She was at a breaking point. But doing that simple instinct was life-changing. And here's how so. And the decision wasn't just caused merely by intuition. There's actually, you guys, scientific findings that prove once you set an aim, whatever that aim is, the brain will monitor the surroundings in search of means to fulfill it. So after finding it, the prefrontal cortex sends you a signal to act. For example, when you aim to get healthier, as soon as you pass by a gym, how do you feel? Oh man, I didn't go to the gym today. Right? Or you want to lose weight and you're on that transformation stage or phase, I should say. And you have friends that are constantly posting their workouts. How does that make you feel? Well, I feel like I should exercise, because if I do nothing and I just walk in my living room or wherever it is, nothing changes. So here's what I'm saying. The key is to be aware of these signals, because that is our inner wisdom. And heed that advice, you guys. Heed it. Your subconscious is telling you something. And it also might be result in even successful initiatives. For example, Starbucks now sells Frappuccino. You know why? Because an assistant manager followed her impulse and offered this idea in 1992. So going back to Mel, the rocket launch really affected Mel, and when the next morning came, even though she felt stupid, and I cringe when I even say this, because no one should ever feel that way, she ignored her feelings and trusted her instinct. Instead of hitting the snooze button, she counted as usual, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then stood up, and then the actual 5-second rule was implemented. And as I stated earlier, I use the 3-second rule for my clients. Now, unusual tasks for mindful freedom or changing you to a growth mindset can really begin by just that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. Now, when counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's so powerful because it's a trap for excuses. You got me so far? So while your brain deals with an unusual task, it has no time to provide any reasons that can stop you. Therefore, it's a perfect time to act. So use this, y'all, for your advantage. Now, remember this is you don't need to be motivated before making or doing anything. I'm just telling you, you don't need motivation to start whatever you're going to start. Because many people have an external focus of control, meaning they believe circumstances define their life. However, we can be successful and happy only when we take responsibility of our own actions. Now, the 5-second rule states that you can control your destiny. So far, you push yourself. And this practice works every single time. And I haven't hit the snooze button in a long time because I implement this program, this plan, which is I do 3, 2, 1. But use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That might even be better for you. But it's a tool. And if you stop using it, guess what happens? And journal this. Don't believe me. Journal it. Write it down. Just do it for a week. Because if you stop using it, procrastination sets in, uncertainty sets in, and that fear will constantly keep coming back in and impede any necessary actions that you have moving forward. And if this happens, you got to find your way back to the simple rule that I talked about and apply it again and again and again. Transformation takes place on your inside whenever you use this practice, you guys. So take it, use it, be above average, be the best that you possibly can be. So this alteration will give you the strength and confidence to see that all the moments you waited for change were a waste. Observe that counting upwards doesn't work because you could keep counting to 10, 20, or even 10,000, and your brain has enough time to discourage you. You got me so far? But backwards. After 1, there's nowhere else to go but to act. Now, this strategy is sincerely critical into tricking any overthinking pattern that you have because it blocks all and every excuse. Now, you guys remember the slogan by Nike? You know, I often go to the grocery store and, you know, they'll say, I'll try to do something, or I'll try my best. And I always say, you don't need to try. I said, either do it or don't. Well, Nike kind of had a similar tagline. You guys remember this? Just do it. I mean, I'm a Nike fan. I got Nike stuff on right now. Product plug for Nike. So you guys want to endorse Framing New Heights, please do so. So a sense that just do it is what you need to do. So while the 5-second rule is how you make yourself do it, what they have in common is that they push you to take action without first stopping to think. Because what happens when we think? We second guess. We overthink. And now we're scatterbrained. So you may shorten or lengthen the time window to suit your specific needs. As you keep repeating this simple 5-second rule, your mind gets accustomed to the change, and guess what? It forms the habit. And habits take time and energy to implement. But you can do it with the 5-second rule. Now, I want to give you 3 distinct categories on how you can use the 5-second rule. Are you guys ready? Again, if you're taking notes, this is a great time to do so because these will truly transform your life. Number 1, change your behavior. Number 2, act with everyday courage. Number 3, control your mind. Here's the deal. When we have courage, we have great power. And here's exactly what I mean. Every day, life is full of absolutely scary, uncertain, and challenging moments that require a lot of courage to pull off. In fact, I'm going through a little bit of storm myself. And that's okay. That's part of life. I've got the tools necessary to make sure I'm okay. You know, whether it's asking for a raise at work, standing up for your beliefs, or merely just getting out of bed, these small acts of bravery define you and change your particular life. Let's take Rosa Parks, for instance, as an example. She decided that the same night, she had the same right to occupy a bus seat as a white passenger. And at that moment, she made history. History-changing decision without thinking or even preparing for it. Interestingly, people who knew her were surprised she even done it, as the woman tended to avoid conflicts. Hardly could she expect it from herself, but her story, you guys, is a perfect example that each of us has the true full potential that you never even thought of. And we need to let courage ignite that inner power inside you. Because like I said, everything you have is right there. And to do this, we should clarify our definition of bravery first, right? It isn't a gift that some people have while others lack. It's an actual inborn trait that everyone possesses. And secondly, we cannot precisely measure fearlessness, as each case is unique. So some pluck up the courage to make a love confession or to even go bungee jumping. For others, these actions aren't really challenging. The difference, however, is how we self-imposed limitations so that we can have high levels of confidence. You guys with me so far? If you're with me so far, put the thumbs up in the comments. Remember, there will always be someone that will never see your worth, and don't let them steal your identity because of that. That's critical. I have many of those individuals that I have to deal with. I shouldn't say many. I've got one, maybe two. But when we allow someone else to take away our self-worth, we lose our own identity, you guys. So we don't remember that. We hold ourselves back because we fear rejection, failure, or even looking back. Ask yourself this simple question. What if I'm wrong and all these fears are only in my head? Because they usually are, y'all. And even if you do fail, tell yourself, so what? It's okay. I did my very best. And I'm going to learn from this situation. So it's because not every dream will always come true, you guys. And it may take several times, maybe even 100 times before it actually works. But don't let it stop you from really realizing your true full potential. Because here's the key. When we remember our failures, and we remember those failures don't define us unless we allow them to. Are you allowing your failures to define you? Because life isn't a one and done sort of deal, y'all. You've got to put in the work. You fail, and you work to get back up, and you work to get what you want. Let's take example Picasso. Picasso created over 50,000 pieces of art, and only 100 were his masterpieces. Interesting, right? Think about this. Don't let searching for the approval of others stop you from achieving your goals. It doesn't matter what other people think and say about you. Let them laugh. And I often talk about this. Steve Harvey, he told his family he was going to be a comedian. They laughed. Look at Steve Harvey now. Now he's laughing. Remember that your determination to do something is really the big crucial factor, you guys. And I'm going to tell you this one thing that will change your thinking pattern and will lead you to great rewards and success. You guys ready? Are you ready? If you're ready, put hashtag I am ready. I am ready. If you're not, that's okay. If you're catching on the replay, that's cool too. So, but going back to what I was saying, I'm going to tell you one thing that will change the way you think, change your thinking pattern, and lead you to great rewards and success. Here it is. Here it is. Most people think that they make decisions based on logic. In fact, I just was making a couple calls today about some future potential clients. And one was, I need to wait for 72 hours. Studies show that a list of advantages and drawbacks would be a no help without emotions reaction. Here's what I mean. We feel before we think and act. This peculiarly explains why it is daunting to start something new. The rational part of you repeats. For example, that exercising, you know it's vital for your health. However, your feelings towards physical activity are an indecisive factor. They don't mean anything. So let's even talk about public speaking, for example. It's a myth that people stumble over their words during their speech because they don't know what to say. They do this because of the fierce battle against themselves that they have internally of self-doubt, which then unfolds inside of them. And guess what? No growth occurs. It stops. And it might be challenging for you to manage your feelings. How many of you are like, yep, that's me? But you can control your actions, y'all. You can control them. Recently, I was in a situation, and I just got some terrible news. And there was somebody that came and addressed me, and I was like, I was not in a good place. My feelings were not in a good place. But I could control my actions, and how I responded was, I'm just not in a good place right now. That's a great way. Now, the 5-second rule comes in handy for doing this also. So it's necessary to start using this rule even if you don't feel like it. For example, you can use the wake up challenge to train yourself to get up in the morning. You guys ready? If you're ready for the wake up challenge, put in the description or the comments right now, hashtag wake up challenge, I'm in. Because all you need is your alarm and counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and yourself. Now, use time in the morning to devise a plan of what you want to achieve that particular day. Some people do it the night before, or if you're going to do it the day of, you should wake up so that you have enough time to start your day. So the concept of activization of this energy states that the strength you need to get out of bed is much higher than is what is required to work and exercise. So here are some steps that I broke down for you guys for a good quality morning routine. Are you guys ready? Okay, here we go. Put your alarm in another room and remove the snooze button. And set it for 30 minutes earlier than your usual time. Okay? With me so far? When you hear your alarm, open your eyes. Say your I am statements. Then start counting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push yourself to rise and shine while your brain isn't able to counteract or contradict itself. Why is it so essential, Michael? Because I'm telling you, because I do this for a living, I help people change. This simple challenge will be the first step, I promise, that you'll get back to taking charge and control of your life. And every time you make this decision, no matter how small in detail it may be, it'll also strengthen that confidence that you've been wanting and build the determination by taking action despite those inner fears that perpetuate you every single day. Now, I want to transition a little bit here into health-cutting distractions and really sharpen your focus here. So let's talk about morning workouts. Morning workouts will endow you with a reserve of strength to make a change in other people's particular life, or in other spheres of your own life, I should say. Take 2. Let me say that one more time. Morning workouts will endow you with a reserve of strength to make a change in other spheres of your life. Everybody with me so far? All right, excellent. So, to become productive, you must improve your health, you have to increase your productivity, and you have to finish procrastination. Thinking won't get you there. Well, I got to think. I'm an intelligent person. I'm not telling you you're not. But it's also going to procrastinate you from what you need to do. Will dieting, hitting the gym, or even doing yoga make you happy? What do you guys think? Drop in your answer in the comments. Or, yes, of course they will. So guess what? Do them. Stop thinking about a diet. Stop thinking about how you feel. Your feelings don't matter. Only your actions do. So move your actions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it. Go. Make that decision. Make that commitment to hire your coach. Make that commitment to being a good husband, a good wife. Make that commitment to practice self-care and self-love. Because here's how you begin. First, you need to become serious about it. I always tell everybody that anybody that wants to work with me, number one, if you want to work with me, I need to know you're a high achiever. In all seriousness. Because if you're on the fence, you're on the fence about your entire life. You don't want change. You just continue going through the same monotonous life situation that gets the not result that you want. But if you are truly serious and about minimizing your distractions because you know they hinder your productivity, it's time to act. Act. Use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Use 3, 2, 1, go. Because when you use your time efficiently, you must perfect the art of focusing. Did you guys hear what I just said? And that's the key to productivity. If you're following along, hashtag focusing, hashtag productivity in the comments. So to achieve this aim, you need to do the following. Again, giving you some more great concrete information that's going to help you succeed, become the best version of yourself. Number one, be in the driver's seat in terms of attention so that distractions won't take over for you. I always like to tell my individuals that are signing up with my Live to Thrive program, I start you out in the passenger seat and you end up in the driver's seat. Or you're in front of a black and white TV and now you're in vibrant color. 4K. Is it 4K nowadays? I think that's what it is. Also, next one. Set your priorities right to concentrate on a crucial task, or crucial tasks for that matter. It may be challenging to remove distractions, y'all. But you must, guess what? I'm going to tell you right now, even though I use social media, delete social media, or at least turn it off, or set a amount of time that you can use on it. Declutter. I get a whole podcast on decluttering, on how it changes your life. And watch out for the rewards, you guys. Because I'm going to tell you, afterward, you'll have to determine your morning activities. What's so beautiful? When you make it a routine to get up in the sound of your alarm, and you count from that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you get up without pressing the snooze button, man, that's a win. That's a win. Otherwise, it's an adverse impact on your productivity. And guess what? Productivity only lasts a few hours, you guys. Willpower. The best time to have your willpower to make the most conscious decisions, if those of you that are listening right now, is in the morning. Scientists explain that people that start a new sleep cycle, when they postpone waking up, are interrupting it, makes them sleepy and muzzy, lowering their effectiveness. Now, walk towards the bathroom and turn off the alarm. Next, clean up. Visualize the steps that make your day ideal. Next, look good. Yes, look good, you all. Do you look good? Do you? Do you feel comfortable going to a pool, or you just don't care? Do you feel comfortable taking your shirt off in front of your kid, if you're a male? Look good and eat a quality breakfast. And then also jot down 1 to 3 things you must do and why they are critical. Now, then plan your day 30 minutes before 7:30 and write, or whatever time it is, and write why you must do these simple tasks. What's your why? It's your why factor for starting the day the way you are. And then make plans for what you want to do during your free time. Now, this routine will enable you to focus on the right things and avoid being susceptible to distractions. Because timing is also crucial, y'all. And I'm going to tell you right now, using the first hours of light are wise, because it's a period when your brain is the most productive. Use the morning routine to make the necessary changes to suit your particular and practical lifestyle. And make it work. And it'll become such a more productive person if you use that simple strategy. Because you need to begin to train yourself to beat procrastination. If you stumble on this podcast and it's because you are struggling with procrastination, these tools will help you. If they're not, hit me up, DM me. This is part of my programming that I help. We go in way deeper, but these are just a simple approach to beat procrastination, especially if you're struggling and you want to be successful. If you want to be successful, put in hashtag successful in the comments. I want to break this down a little bit more for you guys, because I've been talking a lot about productivity. Being productive and destructive procrastination is different. Okay, let me explain that. Being productive is when you take days, weeks, or months to let your mind wander. Okay? So you can develop more creative ideas to enhance your project. Does it make sense so far? but those when you're working on an innovative project that doesn't have a fixed deadline. It's a clever process to practice productive procrastination. Make sense? Now, destructive procrastination is when you avoid work altogether, knowing that there's going to be a negative consequence because of it. And people do not procrastinate because they don't want to work. Rather, it's to avoid stress or feeling stressed. It's more like an essential break from the pressure we face, perhaps from money, maybe relationships, maybe spousal issues, problems, or just factor of life. But however, running away from difficulties, increasing them, it increases them significantly. Don't be an avoider, y'all. Don't be an avoider. What you do when you're an avoider, think of this, I'll give you this analogy. It's like taking a snowball and then you avoid, right? And every time you avoid, that snowball keeps getting bigger and bigger until it's a boulder, until it's the size of Earth. Don't let your difficulties increase. You know, scientists actually explains, there's a lot of scientists that explain how this actually works. So when people postpone a task, they feel the relief of avoiding the challenge. With me? So since they often do some pleasurable activities while procrastinating, like watching a funny video, going on YouTube, their level of dopamine, sometimes called the happiness hormone, it increases. It stimulates them to repeat this, I want to say, ugly behavior. The pitfall is that joy from social media, you guys, is limited. It's short term. And at the same time, the longer we delay doing something, the more significant our anxiety portrays it, and it engulfs us. It becomes us. Because here's the real reason we struggle, you guys. It's fear. You're afraid. You're afraid to make that next step. Why? The most successful people did it. So many people are stuck in procrastination, and not due to outright laziness, but it's fear. It's also excessive perfectionism. My daughter recently was making a birthday card. She kept messing up. Kept helping her. Well, according to her, she was messing up. We added some stickers, did some other things. Oh, it's not good. And anyway, they just want to throw it in the garbage. Stop the perfectionism. It's also due to low energy levels and a true lack of focus. Now, what you have to do is the following. Are you guys ready for this? Because here it is. First, find out exactly what triggers your procrastination. What's triggering it? Awareness of this would help you to forgive yourself and not really beat yourself up about what you've done to solve the problem. I often like to tell my clients, hey, it's okay. Studies show that those who have heeded this advice are less likely to procrastinate again. That's because forgiving and lowering expectations will establish for yourself. It lessens your stress. Then ask yourself this. What would your future self do? I should say that again. What would your future best self do? Or your ideal self do? Because our future selves portray what we want to be, right? They give us the drive on what we need. So use the rule, start small, and then attack what you're avoiding. And then take a break. Keep this loop going. Keep it consistent. And you replace your bad procrastination habits with good ones. I promise. I want to break it down. There's a guy by the name of Joseph Fiera. He was a professor of psychology at the University of Chicago. Did you guys know that 20% of U.S. men and women are chronic procrastinators? Is it you? Are you one of those 20%? So, the next step I often talk to my clients about is happy. Are you joyful? Are you excited? Because to be the happiest person, you know what? If you don't know how to train your mind to break addiction to worrying, to negative self-talk, and you don't know how to eliminate anxiety from your life, guess what? You're beat up. And any fear you have will live in you forever. So, and one way to really realize the excitement and apprehensiveness is trigger the same psychological processes. And here's what I mean. You can decide what you want to call them. Because the former label makes people look forward to the event, while the latter prepares them to become worse. And what happens is, it's high time to do a reframing and eliminate the word nervous from your vocabulary. If you got nothing out of this podcast so far, I want you to put in the comments right now, or this webinar, put in the comments right now, hashtag eliminate nervous. Get rid of that word. Throw it in the garbage. Don't say it. Here's what happens. I'm going to break that whole concept down. When you worry, you create one of the most powerful fixed mindsets one could have. And trust me, I am struggling too with this. It's a struggle sometimes. Sometimes things currently are happening in your life that could lead to some worry. But I'm going to tell you right now, what I really found a blessing to me is prayer. And there's a quote from the Bible, and it's Philippians 4:6, verse 7. It says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to your Creator. And the peace of your Creator, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." That is one of the most beautiful prayers that if you are ever dealing with worry or anxiety, and if you just say it out loud, it's going to eliminate or help lower that anxiety, that worry piece. Because when we worry, you guys, it's truly like doubting the trustworthiness of our care of our Creator, of our God. I saw it somewhere, and I heard somebody say, or maybe it was a priest or a pastor say, that when we worry or doubt God, it's kind of like spitting in His face, because all we got to do is put faith. It's two ways to live, guys. Faith or fear. Sometimes feelings of love trigger worry too. I bet you're like, yeah, they do, Michael. So let me talk a little bit. So you're excited that, let's say, your husband or significant or friend just got a new motorcycle. But the next thought that creeps into your mind is what? Guess what? What if they get in an accident with it? Or what if they get hit by a car? And most of these things usually don't happen, because if they do, it's by accident, and worrying doesn't really prevent the inevitable. Let's call it a spade a spade. Therefore, it's better to distract yourself from these thoughts with, again, the 5-second rule. On the one, count one. Recall the funny situation related to these people or cases when they have helped you. For example, gratitude, joy, or pride in someone are healthy substitutes for any apprehension. The former, for instance, releases dopamine that contributes to true, fulfilling happiness. Now, when you begin to live a life in faith, you guys, you will truly live a fulfilling and purposeful life. And I know many of you are struggling with that. And if you are, put hashtag struggle in the comments. I'll reach out to you, and hopefully we can connect and find a good plan for you. Because this is exactly how I help my clients. So fear will make you miss out on things you should enjoy and leaving you absolutely miserable. How many of you are like that? What you got to do is you want to create an inner anchor that will beat it. It distracts your mind and replaces the feeling of fear with beautiful images. If you're afraid of flights, which I have a good friend that is, count backwards from 5 to 1 and start thinking of the beautiful places you will visit. I know that sometimes that's easier said than done, but the lovely people or the series of events that will take place if you go. Now, you can also use this tool for visualization to elevate discomfort and set yourself up for true success. For example, imagine the details of your future triumph. If you are anxious about an important event, anything is possible when you master your mindset. A lot of us don't know how to master it. I can learn right away within 5 minutes of a conversation I'm having with you if you have a limited fixed mindset or if you have a growth mindset. And if you're taking notes, I'm going to give you some of the crucial steps on becoming your best self. And it's not just hiring Michael Hicks as your life strategist. So raise your hand right now, you guys, if you lack self-confidence. Raise your hand. Or if you're following along on the live stream here, put in hashtag lack self-confidence. Confidence is not an inborn feature. You can improve it as any other skill. Some extroverts talk a lot about still having to figure it out even when they're expressing their thoughts. So too much wordiness may stem from insecurity, which I found recently that I was doing when I was at the doctor for something that I'm going through right now. So saying less can slightly trust yourself more. Did you know that? And think about this for a second. Pursue your passion and maintain strong relationships, because ultimately that is going to help you be happy. Now, you're like, well, hey, Michael, how do we do these simple things? Well, you start out by pursue your passions. Write that down in the comments right now. Pursue your passions. Also, maintain healthy, strong relationships. This is so important. And these two together will create the joy and fulfillment and excitement of happiness that you will have daily. And one more way to improve your confidence is to find your purpose or your passion. One of the questions that I have before I bring anybody on into my program is, do you know your purpose? Do you know your why? Do you know your dharma? Because to reach this aim, you need trust, you need curiosity, and you got to stop the overthinking train. But you can start by doing something new, finding a new hobby, explore a new subject, read about it, take a class, write a plan, explore, build momentum. Start conversations with like-minded people. And sometimes it's really hard to find that. But they are out there. And then what this will do, you can then create opportunities to drive you forward to your passion. Now, remember to work on your interpersonal relationships too, you guys. This part is important because you need to find your passion towards that. They have a significant impact on your mental health. Interpersonal relationships are so critical to mental health. So a tip to improve your relationships is to speak up. And here's what I mean. Silence is what kills relationships. So if any of you that's listening and maybe your husband or wife asked you a question and you just avoided it and you just didn't say anything, bottling up your true feelings, they don't disappear, y'all. It's kind of like taking a brown paper bag, right? Remember the old school lunch bags? And then your parents would put the lunches in it. But it's the brown paper bag syndrome. You keep blowing in it. What happens eventually? Explodes, right? It accumulates. And the more problems we have, the more it triggers them. And then guess what? It ultimately ruins your relationship. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Learn how to leave anything let me say that again. Learn not to leave anything important unsaid. Say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And say it. All right, you guys. As I conclude today, my wonderful high achievers, you are responsible for your success and failure. You are. Don't blame someone else. Oh, it's because of you this happened. No, I'm going to say this again. You are responsible for your success and failure. If you're failing financially, whose fault is it? Are you failing with your career? Whose fault is it? Oh man, they didn't hire me because of X, Y, and Z. I'm going to tell you right now, y'all, you can be whoever and whatever you want if you desire it. And I'm not going to lie, we'll fall. We'll fail. Does it stop you, though? The roadblock's there for a reason. The successful people have the detour map. What's stopping you? What do you need to do to break that barrier? And don't allow fears to overwhelm you guys. When they creep in, say no and move on to your task. Literally, say no. Something happens, creeps in, no. I'm better than that. And then move on to your task. Because believe that you can move mountains. You got to believe that. You don't believe me? It says it in the Bible. You have the faith the size of a mustard seed. That's all it takes is to move something. Courage is what it's all about, y'all. And the only way to improve is to be courageous enough to change your lifestyle. Are you courage? Are you full of courage? Or are you the lion on the Wizard of Oz that's just chasing courage? Was it the lion? I think it was the lion. Always scared. Now, you might not be able to change things that happened in the past, because I always say your past doesn't define you, but you are the owner of your future. Use the 5-second rule to your advantage. Because if you take the rule seriously and apply it daily in every single area of your life, I promise you, and hit me up when you do, it'll make positive changes. You'll see the growth, and you'll learn to take minor risks to do your very best. And I'm going to tell you right now, your dreams will become a reality. And always listen to your heart whenever it speaks. Okay? Because you can transform your life and the lives of those around you if you avoid procrastination. Do you want to get a better job? Do you want more money? Do you want to get more degrees? Do you want a quality relationship? 3 words. Go for it. Stop procrastinating the issue. How is your mindset on doing those things immediately? Is it a fixed mindset? Is it a growth mindset? Because when you learn to eliminate every form of distraction, prioritize your work, and be focused on achieving your best life, guess what? Whenever you need to do something, you just count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and act out immediately, and that's truly all it takes. All right, as I wrap up today on this webinar and podcast, here's your challenge for next week. Whenever you discover you are procrastinating this next week, I want you to go back to the 5-second rule. And I want you to count back from 5, from 4, to 3, to 2, to 1. Thank you all for listening. Another great episode of Framing New Heights podcast. If you truly like this show, would you kindly send it to 5 other people that could help? Give us a review. We're always looking for great topics to talk about and discuss. Always improving and becoming 1% better in mind, body, and soul. And always stay flexed, y'all.